I am known as Gracie. Margaret is the name of our daughter, even though she has a preference for it. She's the daughter of her father. Our relationship is not harmonious. I believe it's because she and I have a tendency to be con artists. From the beginning of our marriage, I was prone to cheating on my husband. I am unable to get over it. I'm addicted to sex, and Jack isn't my preferred partner. I didn't marry him because of that. I married him because he was easy to manipulate and had the ability to earn good money. It's possible that you live in a trailer and drive if, as someone who may not be allergic to cold, this sounds unsettling. My Mercedes S-Series is my mode of transportation, and I reside in a troubled mansion. Don't judge me if you've decided to move on or waited until now. There is no evidence of Jack cheating on me. Used to be like a cute puppy, running around with me. In the bedroom, I taught him everything. Fortunately, I was convinced by his statement that I had learned everything from the internet. My statement is that he's not as skilled in bed as I am, but his comfort level has improved since I trained him. It's conceivable that I feel such sadness over the thought of our divorce. At some point, everyone is caught. While engaging in sexual activity with a contented individual from the Dominican Republic, during my absence from school, my daughter used the phone's camera to record my sexual activity in high definition. I raised a monster, God. I should have had a well-timed abortion. During our doubtful times, she was the one who connected Jack to me. It's not helpful to have decisions made with hindsight when you require them. Upon my arrival home that day, I witnessed her smiling and running upstairs. I entered the living room and was immediately swept away by a nightmare. The last time I saw a sex scene on TV, it was on television. Jack sat in front of him, tears streaming down his face and a high bitch sound emanating from his chest. My husband's demise was imminent, and I froze as a result. My thoughts were racing, and I yelled to grab the cord from the socket, but my mind was in complete disbelief. Both of us saw me having sex with a young student. My husband would be sexually aroused by now, even if it were an ideal situation. It's possible that we could reach a consensus, but it was not feasible. After a while, he lifted the remote and launched it at our costly UHG flat-screen TV. He shook his head in the same way as a tower to face me. Upon seeing him, I was filled with either blind rage or hatred. It's unclear to me what it is. Jack, I can clarify that it was either an accident or God's timing was right. I assumed I was cognizant of the challenges that arise when attempting to resolve issues between men and women, given their infrequency. I pressed on like a dime. He unlocked his hands and clenched them. He had a breathless demeanor. The first time I laid eyes on him, I was genuinely afraid that he might cause me harm. Curiously, it appeared to be a surprise to him that I hadn't made eye contact with him about my affair. He came into the garage, and I heard an old Ford being driven by him start. It was always a joke that it gave him the recognition of working with his animal patients. He retained that unintelligent pickup truck even after he had quit his job as a veterinarian. Then, right after that, I heard the automatic garage door opener. Before I could make a move and enter the driveway, he pulled over into the street. Let him buckle up, please God. My monster was heard by me. I witnessed my kids standing on the steps and admiring the panoramic view. "Why aren't you bothered by the fact that you harmed him?" I screamed. "What is your interpretation of me killing him, my aspiring future ex-spouse?" I refrained from having sex with anyone while being married to a young man who was my partner. Your naivety is so impressive. I brought forth a wicked monster. It was my wish for her to depart from here. I initiated a plan to rescue me, and the initial step was to deliver the young animal to her grandparents. I confiscated her phone and ruined the DVD she burned to allow her father to view it. Your grandparents will be coming to visit. It's best not to bring up any of this matter with them. You have no more substantiated evidence, and I can certainly make your life very difficult while you are dwelling here. You're out of your mind. If you think I won't be able to handle your father once he gets better, worry no more. Don't try to make me a child." I let out a loud cry in the end. I presumed she had sprinted up to the top in fear. The cloud was not something I had previously been aware of. A day marked by the computer's erection. My daughter was in a stable condition. I wished to keep it under wraps so she wouldn't hurt me anymore. After a long time, my husband came back home. He had a reddened eyes and seemed to be still. I smirked with emotion as I heard him arrive without my clothing on. Upon his arrival in the living room, I attempted to look terrible. I breathed with care into the air like a young girl. It would be appreciated if you could forgive me. It's likely that I had a nervous breakdown. I take a whiff. I am unsure of what caused this to occur. Despite the pain, his gaze remained cold. His eyes were filled with a sense of unease. After getting up to hug him, I noticed that he was not returning my embrace. Then he stood there like the end of an iron fence post or some unyielding tree. We and our daughter were let down by me. I am unable to reverse my actions. I cry for you, but if you leave me alone, I won't stop trying. I took a calculated risk. The outcome was uncertain, but I think the odds were favorable for me. Finally, he gave a speech. I'm not one of you who likes to rub shoulders with each other, but when you do, it just irritates your nerves. I'm worn out, and I require more time to think without your assistance. I'm going to sleep in the bedroom for a while with the door locked. It's important to take everything you need from there and head to the spare bedroom. It's a good thing he didn't get involved in the divorce scheme. I ascended the stairs and collected some items from the closet and master bathroom. Subsequently, they were taken to the spare bedroom located down the hallway. The lock on the door popped open as I was walking back. I squealed for air at the door. Can you please have a chat with me, Jack? We can have a conversation in the morning. The next challenge was the most difficult. I didn't want to look worse, so I refrained from drinking water or eating. I ruffled my hair and put my finger down my throat to throw up. My sundress had liquid on it. The look was completed by a few individuals who applied snot with great care. Moreover, I placed a glass of vodka by my side and dabbed slick Vaseline on the backside of my hand. I made myself stay awake for the rest of the day and night to make it seem like I was tired. When Jack came down the next morning, I wasted no time in rubbing Vaseline on my teeth. To maintain my smile while keeping my lips open, I also squirted a few drops of the remaining vodka in my eyes to induce redness and tears. Despite the pain it caused, it was necessary. Despite his devastation, I observed that he looked much better. The fact that he was concerned about my appearance was even more evident. He continued to hold me in high regard. I had a possibility. Grace, I'm sorry to say that you're terrible. We'll put you to sleep. Upon my arrival, he led me to the master bedroom. I shed tears on his shoulder as he led me into the room and laid me down. The experience was enhanced when he sat beside me and began to converse. Grace, you caused me pain. You shook the pillars of heaven, but I don't want to cause harm to you. Mom called to inform us that they were looking after Margaret, so we had a conversation. Despite his confusion, he proceeded. It was a challenging decision that I had to make. I've never thought about anything as difficult as this. It appears to me that I'm prepared to give you another chance, but you require some counseling regarding your problems. But there's something else as well, regardless of my affection for him. I swear to myself, he was on the verge of screaming and silent. In my opinion, his anger was not as intense as it appeared. Grace, there's only one thing left. It's possible that you won't enjoy it, but I want you to feel the spirit, the crushing agony you inflict upon me. It's unknown when this will occur, but I intend to have sexual intercourse with another woman and capture it on video. To keep going, you'll have to see me having sex with someone else. Subsequently, we'll be on an equal footing. I was completely taken aback. I turned my affectionate husband into a monster, and now he was determined to ruin me. The mere thought of him doing to another woman was so unbearable that I needed someone like me. It was necessary for me to go through this in order to get my life back on track. Upon getting my revenge in the future, I will do it as well. In the meantime, if we have another sexual encounter, I'll use a condom. I'm hesitant to have another baby because of my trust issues, so you can try to tie me down even more. Jack, I am at peace with my feelings. I don't want to hurt you either, but I will do this for the sake of keeping you. I will do anything for this. It was a bit dumb of me to say, but you have to do it anyway. We found ourselves in a difficult situation over the next few months. Upon my return, my demon child inquired why we didn't separate. She smiled at me and reminded me that I am the one in charge of this family. Subsequently, she stopped directly questioning me. Counseling proved to be a simple task. My addiction to sex was the reason I gave it credit. After consuming it, the doctor burst it open for my hubby like a baby. The issue at hand was that my partner was attempting to have sex with me in an unintelligent manner, as I mentioned earlier. He took over the bedroom without my intervention. His every move, I wondered whether he had acquired his new passionate skills from another woman. The fact that we didn't have sex because he claimed to be unwell or tired made me anxious. Might I witness him kissing a young girl tomorrow, possibly due to his romantic interest in her? It had a devastating effect when everything was combined. As the year went on, I lost all my self-assurance. I didn't want my husband to know about an affair that had taken place with someone else, so he was the only one to keep me company. I was saddened by his lack of attention towards me. I was not overweight at the time, but I did lose weight later. My hair dipped and became coarse. I was told by colleagues that I looked like I had been shocked out of my 10th birthday. The joint pain and difficulty falling asleep suggests that I may be old for a while. My husband's obsession has become a problem for me, and I am willing to bet on it. He had complete control over everything. I expected my world to be taken away from me every day and relegated to the role of an evil priest in a film. My Jack to giggle happily and insert himself into my chest to break my heart. My plan was a complete failure. Who would have thought that the main entry, the gear, would be caught in a trap that she herself set? It's been almost a year, and I can no longer bear to endure it. I chose to shut off and observe the situation. My daughter was sent to her grandparents, and my husband's love for her brought me to a resolution. If he didn't take a hit or use the bathroom, I was going to be gone. My love for him is new, and despite it being my first time loving him, I can't bear to suffer anymore. Jack, I can't bear it anymore. It would be great if you could find another woman, have sexual relations with her, and more importantly, act fast. I will be watching the tape to help me get through this. He gave me a direct look. I felt my heart skip out as I recollect the exact instant that this looked like the one he gave me a year ago. When a bug collector sees an intriguing bug that he wants to collect, they look up. A young sociopath's excitement about burning ants with a magnifying glass is possible. What have I done wrong? Is it your level, Gracie? He muttered. I noticed that he used my full name, never to mention Grace, as I liked the nickname. I never intended to do what I said. All I've done this year is to encourage you. I longed for you to love me once more, so that when you could move beyond worry and doubt, would you be willing to give me an ultimatum? He got up and went straight to his workplace. The key was turned in the lock, and I witnessed him carrying a substantial envelope. I'm not deciding whether you want to sign or not. You and I have come back together. You no longer hold a grudge against me, and you appear to be the one who cares for me. Despite your doubts about me sleeping with a woman for retribution, I am unconcerned. Seeing is believing, and now you can feel the same way I did. It's a daily occurrence for you to wonder if the person you love will abandon their affection and depend on sex. A year ago, I had no intention of making a decision. My intention was to inflict pain without causing you any physical harm. I scrutinized the documents he provided me, divorce papers signed and dated almost exactly 1 year ago. My tears were inconspicuous, but they didn't make a difference at the time. Gracie had an opportunity to make it happen. During this period, you had made it clear that you were sorry and did not consider it to be a mental issue. We could have resolved the issue, but you didn't. I suspected that you were avoiding and trying to exit. Gracie, I'm not stupid. I've been under suspicion for a while, and I am certain that this student wasn't your initial outro. It was because of our daughter and my love for her that I let it go. Despite everything, we're done. While it's possible to sign the papers, remember to take everything you can. Take your things and depart. Margaret will remain with me. She's capable of making a decision. Until she graduates from school, I will be responsible for managing the house. Your financial advantage notwithstanding, we are fortunate to be able to obtain alimony. Is it time to depart? Margaret will be gone for a while, and I don't want you to stay. I was a Frankenstein gazing at my creation. It appeared to me that pneumonia was not likely to be fatal in the near future. Mary Shelley, the creator of the monsters, had a dead body within me. He commenced planting everything. He had to wonder if his suspicions and plans started happening when he decided to start working as a truck driver. It undoubtedly changed the money balance and established it as a shared asset, decreasing my chances of using alimony to delay the divorce. He was correct in stating that my daughter had the ability to choose her place of residence for custody. The agreement was, in fact, more than just equitable. Given his lower income and potential role as custodial, I may have to pay child support for him. I have the option to take legal action and keep it pending for months or years. The substantial economic burden of a lawyer's extended work hours makes it hard to be cautious. In that location, I reluctantly signed the papers and packed a few things before leaving due to my limited options. The movers can be left to handle the remaining tasks. It's all property, after all. My true desires have been quashed. My sorrowful tale was meant to conclude here. My daughter expressed that she had no fear of me and would never want to see me again. Disclosed my disgraceful conduct from the cloud to the Milk website. The aftermath of my amateur videos was immediate, much sooner than the lawsuit that led to their removal. After being fired for not working as a veterinarian, I was forced to find another state where I could provide an explanation for my sudden job loss. I am confident that I will overcome the agony, the intense sense of being shattered into pieces. Although I may not be able to replace Jack, my attractiveness remains intact. Having been married before, I realized that I didn't have complete love for my spouse, and now I'm struggling with it. Jack is definitely stronger than me. If I can behave honestly and correctly for a whole year, then maybe Jack will accept me again. I was unable to do it. I am feeling emotionally dead in both my love life and casual relationships. The monsters I made are still loved by me. Subscribing to our channel and tuning in to the next story, as this one is not more noteworthy than the previous one. If you're under 18, don't bother to listen to the next one.